Hi guys, this is Corpon and welcome back to War Thunder, both to me and to you guys. I have been inactive for a while and since I was spending my holidays down in southern Sweden I couldn't record at all. So that's why there's been a lack of videos during the last 3 weeks or so. For that I do apologize, but now we're back and today we're gonna have a look at a sort of odd bird here in War Thunder, and that is the M4 Sherman. Don't really like this tank all that much, and I haven't really played it. I did not fully research it before I started recording for this video, but I do have two gems of matches for you to watch today, and this is the first one. This is the good game, and the second one will be the more funnier game or the funnier match. So do please stick around for the funnier stuff come next game. And we're on Ash River and we're versing the Germans too, and we're together with the Russians, so it's Axis and Allies in earnest this time around, and we're fighting in Ireland on Ash River, sort of on map in War Thunder, but hey, I guess they wanted a map on Ireland, I don't know. So I've spotted that Panzer IV. I think it is a Panzer IV J, I would believe. Could be a Panzer IV G, but anyhow, he's not showing himself, he's not coming around the corner. But I wait. I keep my tank angle slightly to the right. That really helps out with the survivability on the tank. Should I take a hit from the front or from the, let's say, the front and left around that corner. But there's a muzzle flash, and then I spot what I think is a bot, but you cannot be sure enough, so I fire. It is a bot. I grow restless here, know that I need to move in order for you to have something to watch. And since I did hit the record button, I did decide to move up because I do want to get in close with the enemy, or at least flank them if I can. And I can see that there's some T-34s that have moved up on my flank, so I'm good to go here. So I push around the corner, can't spot any Panzer IV, but I do spot the Panzer IIIN here, hiding amongst the trees. I do put a shell into him, disable the gunner, and then the second one is just straight through the Scherzen there, into the side of the tank, and he blows up in a ball of fire. And as with every battle, the battle wages back and forth all the time here. And I've learned from my time as a tanker in War Thunder that it doesn't really pay off to always attack. I seldom do that. I very rarely go on an all-out assault. I can see that I have a T-34 ahead of me who's assaulting their spawn, and I don't really like spawn camping, so I decide to take an alternative route and to try to help out the people on the middle of the map, see if I can relieve some pressure on them should there be Panzer IVs moving up. I spot this Panzer III J, I believe it is, could be an L model as well. It is no, it's not a J model, it is most likely an L Panzer III, and we hit each other at this roughly the same time. So I pause to repair the tank, and I can see outgoing fire from that shelf where he is set up in a nice little sniper position. A position that I really do like. I often go up there at the early stages of the match and just to see if I can get a sneak shot off at anyone. I spot this Panzer IV on the far side of the map, or the middle, try to gauge the distance really quick, and then I fire rapidly and I hit his turret and I knock out the tank with one shell. And as I said earlier, the battle reaches back and forth, so I kind of take up position, see if I can snipe something or knock out a few tanks, and then when the action dies out, I seek alternative routes. But at least I know that the mill is secure by now and there's no tanks trying to push up the mill. But it's definitely time to move on, so I kinda move up here, turn around the tank. I do have a radio operator who is dead, and the driver is injured as well as the gunner, so that is a bit of a problem. Come around the corner, I see a Stug 3H, I believe that is, the howitzer model. I hit the back half of the tank, I reload and fire again. I hit the engine and disable it. The tank should have a bit of a problem moving, but he's on the downhill and luckily it can burn away and roll into cover. But I do spot some other vehicles here and I do try to put some hurt into them, one after another. It turns out I do fire straight through that flak vehicle and I knock out the Panther III behind him. And initially I think that the Panther III did not die, so I tried to fire at him, but I do miss, obviously, because I knocked out a tank that I didn't really see there. So I switched to alternative weapons. I take out that flak 38. Now here's a plane trying to revenge bomb us, but the bunker really helped me out there. So I'm good to go and push up a little bit now. Ever so cautiously, you know, but I haven't really sustained much damage. And I've won a few duels by now, so I'm kinda happy. Here you can see me moving up really cautiously, and there's a Panther III that doesn't really know I'm here, coming around the corner, so I just knock him out with one shot through the side of the tank, just like that. And you do not benefit at all in a Panther III showing an enemy tank your side plate, because that side plate is literally unarmored, you know, at this level at least. If you face rank 1 vehicles you will be able to bounce shells with your side plate, but yeah, showing your side plate like that will get you killed. There's no doubt about that. So that was 3 Panther IIIs and 1 Flak 38 in rapid succession, so I call that successful. So once again I turn around and go back to the same place I was earlier on. I can see that they're capping B, so I try to move up to defend our cap. Looks like that's a Flak 38 in the cap zone. I hit him, but I do not get the kill, so that's an assist. It's not that bad. I don't care really if I get kills or not. I just want to play this game and have fun, and that's what I do normally. So back again, try to move back to the other side of the bunker that has given me a lot of cover, and it does once more. Now my upper glacis is sloped and it's angled, so I do bounce the next shell, but that Stug 3 does not bounce my shell, since I do know where to aim to knock out the Stug 3. And I nearly put one into that T-34, but then I see the blue text and I also do recognize that the T-34 isn't a German tank, so I hold my fire. But that was very darn close that I did pull the trigger on that T-34. As I said before, I try to flank whenever I can. If I see a tank that is moving up, the shortest route to the enemy, I try to go around to support him. And we'll see here that it does pay off. There's the Stug 3. He spotted that T-44 and tried to move back to support his cap, I guess. And I do get an engine shot off on this Stug 3, and yeah, 3 shots later that tank is gone. That's another kill. And I did not take any damage whatsoever, so that's a successful engagement in my book. And that kind of engagement is something that you should try to get every time you face another tank in War Thunder. Remember, if you're fighting a fair fight, you're doing something wrong, and it really is like that, you know. You should really play all the cunning tricks that you have in your book, if you can. Use whatever method you have to your advantage to get the head start on the enemy, you know. Try to move around them, try to hit the weak spots, try to stay in cover, try to come around them unnoticed, try to hit them from distances where they can't answer the fire or something like that. Whatever you can to just gain the upper hand, use it. You won't be sorry. So we're moving up on the enemy's cap. Finally, after roughly 12 minutes of engagement, you know. I see a muzzle flash. I try to answer the fire and keep my friend alive here, who's in a duel. And here I can see I'm making a mistake. I shouldn't really have gone up alongside the T-34 teammate. I should have tried to flank on the right side, but it doesn't really change the game in any kind of way, so it doesn't matter. I spot a Flak 38. Can't put any kind of fire into it before it dies, and then I hear the bombs coming in, so it's time to move out. It definitely is. If you do not move, you will get bombed and die. But it turns out that the bombs miss, and after this the match goes into a bit of a lull period, so I am going to cut here and we'll get back into the game once there's more action. Alright. Meanwhile, I am scouting around for more enemy tanks. I don't really like to park in the enemy cap and just wait to win by capping. If I do have a teammate who is capping, I try to defend them by seeking out enemy tanks, and in effect to defend my teammates who are capping. But it seems like there's only a plane left and we're about to win, so this game is over. Let's have a look at some post-game stats and you'll see what happens. Oh, in the end there I got the airplane kill as well. And everybody cheers and we're happy. So let's have a look at the post-game stats and then we'll move on to the funnier video of the two. So yeah, medals for everyone, experience for everyone. I even got some upgrades. And yeah, I didn't fare all too bad in that game. But we did have a few very good tankers on our team, so that most likely bought us the victory. And yeah, the enemy had a very good tanker as well. So next game, we're still in the M4 Sherman, and this time we're on Poland. As I always say, this is probably my favorite map in the game. This clip is a bit longer, so we'll probably do some extensive cutting throughout the match. I imagine. Can't really see myself talking that long to entertain you guys. It's gonna be tricky. But we move up to the front, or I actually to the flank, or a position on the flank that I sometimes want to set myself up in. And we're talking about how to knock out the T-34 using this tank, and people are a bit confused about how to knock out the T-34 and why you can't knock out the T-34 with an M4 hitting it in the upper glacis from the front. And I park in a hold down position, try to scan for targets, spot that T-34 right away. Seems like a T-34 1942 model. Hit the turret, and sure enough it is one of those tanks. He's realizing he's on the fire. He tried to move up. He takes a second hit from me. I set him on fire. Hit the turret, and it's a no-go shot. Aim again for the side of the turret. Turns out I hit the turret ring. He's on fire, and the next shot knocks him out, and I back down into cover again just to stay out of the watchful eyes of the T-34 enemies, I guess. But it seems like we've won the flank at this point. There's no other tank, so yeah, we kind of move up and we get in behind the enemy. Turns out the enemy, in fact, have moved straight through the middle of the town, thinking they're invulnerable in their T-34s. And that is a common mistake I often see tankers in realistic battle commit. They think they're invulnerable to US and German tanks just because they're in the T-34 and it has sloped armor. That is certainly not the case. As you can see here, I tried to put down some arty for down range in the town, but then all of a sudden I have a tank popping up right next to a spot to our cap. So I kind of move back, and considering the vast amount of fire coming into town here, I kind of start to suspect that there might be more than just one tank down here. So we move up. As always, I try to mind cover, try to set myself up in a place where I can have a decent amount of cover. I spot another T-34 1942, hit him right in the side of the turret there. I think I see another one over there, and then all of a sudden I spot that T-34 ST tank right there on the far side of the stone wall, and I knock him out with 2 shots. So 2 quick kills just like that, just because I flanked the enemy and they did not pay attention to what happened on the map or what happened around them, and they got knocked out for it. And this is where I get to use the good mobility on the M4. It really does have great mobility. You can get around fairly quickly in this thing, and you gain speed rather quickly as well. And the turret reverse speed on the M4 is great, so that does often mean that you get to turn around the turret. Should you take a side hit, something like that, you turn around the turret quickly enough to answer the fire before the enemy tank has reloaded and put another shell into you. But things quiet down on this sector, so I back up. I traverse the turret and the tank around, and then I try to move up on the flank on these tanks down here. I take a speculative shot, but I don't really have a target, so we're gonna cut here, and I'll get back to you once I'm up on the flank of these tanks here. I do know that there's a heavy tank somewhere near, and there's also a T-34, a tank that I just spotted when I came around the corner over here. It could be hard to see, but I thought I saw something here between the houses, and I multitask. I put down some RT, and then I move up. Maybe we don't need to cut, come to think of it. I think we're fine, yeah. Let's move on up, see what's around the corner. Could there be a tank here? Oh yes, there could be one. And that's a T-34 model 1941. Unfortunately, I'm taking fire, don't know from where. So I kind of move up, or I have to move up. Second shot comes in right into my engine. That tells me there's someone behind me. My tank is on fire. There he is. Now I'm in a pickle. But I got the kill on that T-34 model 1941. Can I traverse the tank around? That T-34 makes a fatal mistake, trying to knock out my crew. And the Mod 3 comes in to rescue me, sets the tank on fire. And his turret is jammed, so I can put one very well placed shot right into the turret, and that kind of cripples the tank. And the second shot, and it's a kill. And yeah, I have a look at my front, and I can see a KV-2. That was the heavy tank on the map. He showed up, and yeah, you can't do anything against the KV-2 at that kind of range. You are most definitely dead. So that was the end of my M4 tour on Poland. But we are not going to cut, because there's a lot of funny things that will happen next. As I fly out in my Hellcat, the F6F. Right away I actually spot a Yak 9T, or what I believe is a Yak 9T, because I've been reading the kill feed. I've been seeing that there's a Yak 9T killing off all the planes that comes in to help out the tanks in the town, and it seems like he's dropping in on me, so I try to avoid. He's coming in. He does not have a shot. Just missed me from below. I tried to make a sharp U-turn. And since I'm fully loaded with rockets and bombs, I do not try to do any kind of fancy maneuver, so we go into a head-on. I shoot him, get some criticals in, and then I ram him, and he's... that Yak 9T wasn't made out of Stalinium, and the Hellcat got away victorious from that engagement. So he's down, and I'm happy, because I really do dislike Yak 9Ts. So any day I get to shoot one down, that's a happy day for me. So off we go into town. I have a crippled plane. I might be able to drop some ordnance onto these tanks down here. Bombs are gone. That wasn't a hit, and I can see some dots coming in. That's P-47. It's an American plane, and now I'm going head on with a plane that has a lot more machine guns than me, but fortunately I get the killing blow on him. And we both goes down. I'm trying to strafe the third plane here, but that's a no-go, and down we go. So it's time to bail out. I tried to save the pilot, but I was too late, and I'm not having any second thoughts here, since I do have a spare Hellcat. So I jump straight into my second Hellcat for the day. So less than a minute later, we have a new plane loaded up with bombs and rockets. And yeah, we're making our way over to town. Meanwhile, might just as well scan for targets. Can see some AAA firing, and all of a sudden there's a dot crossing the lake. That tells me that it's a plane. Probably an enemy, since there's no plane with blue text around there or that sector. So I'll try to keep my altitude, and instead of diving straight down onto the what I believe is a BF-110, I do a loop and a barrel roll, and I come down right on top of him. I lose a flap in the process, but yeah, one of his engines is on fire. He nicks my plane, but I get away, and I zoom out. And there's some AAA firing. And at this point I have actually missed that there's an LA-5 in the area. And he is going to show up soon. Meanwhile, I try to scan for ground targets. I think I found one. Yeah, but he gets knocked out. So I don't need to mind him anymore. I zoom out again. Check my 6. Can't see anything, so I check for targets. Still can't find any targets to bomb. So make a U-turn, or an inverted U-turn. I try to at least, but my plane is too heavily loaded for such a maneuver, so I kind of belly flop around. And I'm lucky enough that this is realistic battles and I can get away with such a maneuver. Had I been in simulator battles, I would have been in a flat spin. And bang! Someone hits me. I decide to drop all my ordnance here. And then try to get away. Find whatever kind of plane it is that is behind me. And it seems like it's an LA-5. So I kill the throttle to make him overshoot. And then I try to get him behind him. But my plane is a bit damaged, but I try to turn around and the engine's dead. So yeah, there's that. So the LE-5 got away with it. But I still have tanks around, and I still have enough points to venture out again. So I choose a Chaffee this time. I want mobility and I want to get around quickly. And this is the right tank for just that kind of thing. And once again, I decide to move up on the flank. I can spot the LA-5 coming in, so I cannot strafe him. Get a lucky hit there. Do not really expect to knock him out, but doesn't hurt to scare him off if you can. Second burst is not even close, so I keep on moving. So once again we're out on the flank. There's some tanks burning out here, so that kind of tells me this isn't the safest of places to be. There's also not really a lot of fire incoming, but there's something firing onto our position. Not my position, but onto my friendly's position. So I decide to investigate to see what kind of threat it is coming up along this flank. And meanwhile, someone in the chat is asking me to assist a player who's stuck. He's gotten immobilized, but I completely missed that. I'm totally focused on whatever it is that is up here, and I expect a KV-1 or a T-34. That's a muzzle flash, aim, fire, and oh, it's a T-26. I did not expect that, but hey, it's kill number 10 for the day. We have successfully defended our Stug 3 from the mean and evil T-26. But I do guess that he just tracked the Stug 3 and maybe had a lucky hit or something, just knocked out his engine. And there he is on the ridge. Maybe he got bombed or something like that, I don't know. But now we'll cut and I'll get back to you once I've rolled up the flank and I headed into town and I'll set up an ambush for someone that I believe is moving up through the town. So a minute later, near the center of the town, just north of it, and I set up an ambush because I know that they are recapping the zone. But the capping of the zone was halted or interrupted, and then somebody continued to cap the zone. That told me that there was someone moving through the cap. So I set up an ambush and there was a Panzer IV moving up behind me. But since I parked, he also stopped, and that gave us this magnificent ambush setup against this T-34 model 1941. He had no idea that we were here. And I also set up in a very neat little position behind that pile of rubble. A pile of rubble that would in fact protect my weaker hull of the Chaffee. So that's good. Always try to do stuff like that because it might save your tank from taking some serious punishment. And they're still capping, so I'm putting down some arty on the cap zone. And I can see that the Panzer IV is moving up to my left. I decide to try to help him by flanking around. Can't see any tank here. They're calling for air assistance from up high. There's a bomb. There's a bomb blast, and I come around the corner, and yeah, that would have been nasty to run into. So I'm really happy for the Air Force showing up and helping us knock out that T-34. Because the T-34 versus a Chaffee, that is some serious trouble for the Chaffee. Although the Chaffee might actually be able to knock out the T-34, you don't really stand the best of chances against the T-34 if you don't knock out the gunner with the first shot. So the rest of the game I'm more or less playing cat and mouse with the IL-2. And yeah, it's kind of dangerous, you know. An IL-2 might be able to pen your tank if you're in the Chaffee, but I'm kind of foolish here, just staying put. He's trying to knock me out, but fortunately he's missing, and he's probably out of rockets as well. So I try to knock him out or shoot him down with the machine guns, but to no avail. And I try to hide here behind the buildings, but he'll show up, come around, try to knock me out once more. And once again I try to shoot him down with the machine guns. Seems like he now has a bead on my position, which is only something that is natural if you're firing your machine guns and letting him know where you are. But that's the whistle for the game. We have won. I've killed 8 tanks and 3 airplanes, and I got 2 assists, I believe. A fairly decent result, to be honest. And yeah, got a fair amount of lions for that game. I do believe I had some kind of bonus going on there, but there's a lot of rewards that I got for that game. Here's some of them. And yeah, with that said, guys, this was the first video in about a month. I will be back with more videos, so don't leave the channel, don't abandon me, pretty please. And if you would like to give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. But until next time, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys around in the next video.